Welcome to Talk of the Tatnam, where we the supporters get the chance to talk with players, coaches and backroom staff of Poole Town Football Club. This week we talk to top goal scorer Tony Lee. With 88 goals and 123 appearances, Tony tells us about missing chances, scoring screamers and his favourite club card meal deal.
Hello Tony, hello Alex, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, how are you?
All good, thanks John.
Excellent.
See you all.
As no one else will know, but you will know, I'm quite far away and we're having a little bit of internet difficulty, so hopefully everything will be fine, but we're not live, so I don't know why I even said that. So it's been a difficult week. It's been a difficult week, Tony, in terms of the weather. Nothing's really gone ahead as planned. How are you coping with that? How do you make that work for the next games?
I've been pulling my hair out. I hate not playing football. So we've been dragged in Thursday to train. Well, not dragged in. Trained Saturday morning. As soon as we found out I was off, trained Tuesday night. So obviously we've just been Saturday, done a little bit of prep for Tuesday, and obviously that went out the window with it being off. So train Tuesday, just keep our legs moving, keep us ticking over. And training tomorrow, and that'd be a little bit more detail on Beaconsfield.
How does that sort of change things? I mean, I guess you're on a fairly normal routine of going match day, then a midweek, and then midweek training. Have you planned for this Beaconsfield game, and does it changing to home make much of a difference? Sorry, changing from home to away make much difference to you?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously we had planned 3 home games on the bounce, and now it's turned to 3 away games. So obviously a little bit changes. We've got 2 Astro pitches in a week, which might not halt us in our journey, but I think like a few of the older lads might feel it a little bit more. And then away to Didcot the following Saturday. So yeah, it's a little bit of change of plan. Obviously different surfaces you've got Beaconsfield, a typical 4G. Bracknell, which is a new 4G, which is more sand, it felt weird when we played there in the FA Cup. Yeah. And then Didcot on grass. So it'd be a lot of planning, 3 different styles of football that we'll be coming up against. So it'll be a lot of chopping and changing with ideas and the way we set up and the way we look to play. So,
does the surface make a difference? Do you plan for that? Do you play the game a different way, 4G as opposed to grass?
Yeah, I think even like Hungerford the other night, Hungerford was on a slope. It was grass. It was always going to be a bit more of a battle, where in previous years we've gone to Beaconsfield, it's been more football based because you can get the ball down and play. Same as Bracknell, it's more of a footballing game instead of it just going route one or into channels and squeezing up the pitch. Where Didcot, previously their ground's been or their pitch has been boggy, so that's been a different game to the Astro ones. But yeah, I think on Astro we will look to move the ball a lot more on the floor instead of going direct. And then depending on the weather conditions at Didcot, we might go a little bit more direct to what we have done.
Cool. Has it done much for you, Alex? What the supporters doing to get around these big gaps?
It's thrown all the plans out the window, that's for sure. I think we were quite looking forward to having 3 games in a row at home due to the wallet. But yeah, no. I think I'm up on the coach on Saturday, on the team coach. I think there's a couple of people can't make it due to prior commitment. I think Bracknell is going to be well attended, and I think maybe a couple of fans are going up on the train to Didcot, which is always good. Always good to get a train game in, which is always good. I was wondering, Tony, obviously you were talking about surfaces. What do you prefer playing on? Do you prefer playing on grass, or the more you play on like a 4D pitch, are you prefer that now?
Yeah, I think obviously we train at Litchett, which is Astro, but I think the Astro's been down for 10 years, so it's not as spongy, it's not as giving on the hips and the knees and stuff like that. But the newer Astros are not too bad. Me personally, I don't feel bad or as bad on the newer Astros, and I do the old one. I feel like a tin man on a Friday morning after Litchett, but then I could play at Beaconsfield and not feel too bad because they've got the new like membranes or whatever it is underneath. So yeah, it's hard. I'd prefer grass. If you can get a nice grass pitch, like Tottenham's pitch that we played on this year was a dream. Like one of the best pitches at this level. So yeah, I'd prefer a nice grass pitch. But then with the weather that's come in, I'd say I'd take an Astro all day just to keep us playing. But that's me.
There's a bit of a running joke with some of me and some of the supporters. I thought Tottenham was that good that I thought it was a classic. So yeah, the groundsman up there have done a fantastic job because I thought it was 4G. So.
Yeah, so I think they've got, from what I've heard, they've got the Simpson under 23s groundsman out there, so it's got a constant care on it. And it's similar to Weston's last year. I think Weston had like a full-time groundsman. So when you've got people that are attending that, attention to detail on the pitch, you're always going to have a good outcome on it.
When do you have to get rid of it? What's the threshold? Which leagues of plastic pitches not allowed? Sorry, I was putting you on the spot. It's out of curiosity.
I don't know. Simo might know a little bit more than me. Is it the League Two? I think Sutton done it a few years ago. Yeah, they got promoted from the conference to League Two and had to rip all of it up.
Oh, so it's pretty high up then.
And go grass.
Cool.
Yeah, I think if it's League Two, I think that's the one.
That's the threshold.
Yeah, League Two.
So moving on from this week's events in the weather, tell us about your footballing journey, Tony. From when we've done a bit of research. We found a place called Stoneham Lane, which I believe was your academy, but we weren't sure if that was affiliated to a club or not. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, that was, well, it depends how long you got, because we could be here all night with the amount of loans and clubs and all that. So I could put a few people to sleep. I know Toby will listen to this when it goes out just before bed, just to give me a bit of stick. But yeah, no, Stoneham Lane was where Eastleigh was. That was it was literally the road that Eastleigh's ground and academy was on. So yeah, it started at Eastleigh, left school, went straight into the scholarship, done like education and played football. But I solely done it because I hated being in the classroom, hated everything to do with school. So I thought, I can just play football and wing my way through the next 3 years of education, which I managed to do one. And then the second or third year got a lot tougher when I signed my first year or my first contract at Eastleigh. After that, I spent 4 years at Eastleigh, 4 or 5 years at Eastleigh with, I think Simo probably know the exact figure, but about 12 loans, 13 loans in that 4 year period.
There's a few. There's definitely a few. Just wondering if you can remember about making. I know you made a couple of appearances in the club. You did make a league appearance for Eastleigh. Do you remember who that was against?
Yeah, I remember it very well because it didn't go to plan. It was away at Dartford, I think about September time. I believe we were 2-0 up when I come on, and I think at the time where we just got promoted to the conference, it was like quite a small squad for the level, the first time at the level. Had a few injuries, so I got chucked on the bench last minute. Didn't know nothing about it. Didn't have any shin pads, just had a pair of boots just in case anything happened. I think I got chucked on in the 70th minute, and then we conceded 2. And I had a good chance to make it 3-0. I'm saying the keeper made a very good save, but I think looking back now, I probably should have done a lot better with it. But yeah, I think that was Dartford away, 2015.
You are correct. It was Dartford away. You came on in the 76th minute. You came on for Craig McAllister.
Yeah.
And in credit to you, it was 2-1 at the time. And they equalised in the 90th minute, so I can understand why you wouldn't want to remember too many details of that. But yeah, so like at the time, maybe you had been 17, 18. What happened on that day? Like, did you find out on the day? Was it kind of Friday night before? What happened?
No, I was in that pre-season, because I think it was October that I made my debut. In that pre-season, I'd done, like, for a 17-year-old, done really well. Scored a few goals against league clubs, scored a few against conference sides or conference south sides. And I thought, I'm flying here, like, not a problem. Got sent out on loan to Lymington in the Wessex for a month and a half, 2 months. Done well, called me back, and then they were having injuries. So he was like, look, you and another young lad are just going to travel with us left, right and centre now, because if we get any injuries or anybody goes down ill, then you'll be on the bench. I think it was like, can't remember, must have been 5 minutes after he went out to warm up, one of the lads felt an injury and they come running back in. I was sat there, like, I'd done all my running before the game and stuff like that, come back in, just about to shower. And he said, "Oh, don't shower." He said, "We've got an injury, you're going on the bench, get ready, get back out there and warm up." So like everything had flipped from me doing a proper warm up to me literally just going out there, pinging a few balls around. And then sitting on the bench. But as soon as I signed that first team contract, it was never, everything was done by the first team manager. It was, and towards the end of the season before, like, they started to take notice of me for scoring goals in the youth team, and like the first team manager took over then. So the academy manager was like, "Look, you're a man now. You've got to go into the big world of football. You got to deal with men," and that's what he done. He said, "Look, all the best." I still seen him around the training ground and I had a laugh with him, but it was more any information the first team manager or the assistant would come and tell me, and the academy manager would like cut out of it.
Just going back there a minute, Tony, you mentioned a chance you didn't score from. How many of those have you got in your locker that you look back on? Is it as many as there as goals? Do they stand out like that, or can you put them to bed most of the time?
Yeah, I think earlier on, I think from the ages of 19 to 24, I think probably more than the goals. I think, and then since 24, I think I've swapped it round. So I put more away than I do miss. But yeah, at the start, like, as we'll go into in a bit, like I played here, there, and everywhere: centre half, right back, like centre forward. So like I wasn't as consistent and I wasn't as like in form as I probably should have been. I think the day after that I played right back or centre half for the youth team.
Right.
So I've gone from playing up front in front of I think 4,000 people at the time to God knows how many playing centre half in the youth team in front of like 5-6 people.
Do you get a feeling when you're on form? Do you walk out on the pitch and think, "Yeah, I reckon I'm going to bury my chances today"?
As I said, from 24,
yeah.
I was like, every time I go out and I'm disappointed and I get more, like if we win, great, perfect. I don't, and I'm glad we have won and stuff like that, but if I don't finish a chance or if I don't score, I don't feel I've given the team anything or done my job. That's what I'm out there to do, score goals or help. And if I don't do that, I feel I've had a crap game. But the last 3 years, I've been like, just every game that comes, I'm like, yeah, I'll score today, or I'll do something that ends up winning the game or helping to win the game. So I think, yeah, for the last, was it 2-3 years, like every time I've gone out, I'm like, yeah, I'm in it. I'm in the mood today. I'm going to score. Like I feel it. So yeah, I think every striker goes through that. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood, or I'm going on a nice little run. But for me, I'm quite fortunate that I've managed to drag it out over 18-month period, 2-year period.
Yeah,
so it might start drying up.
Well, I mean, when I first started coming to the club, you've been scoring regularly ever since, haven't you? You've had a good run of form for a good long time. How did it sort of change? Because I may be wrong about this, but I remember when I first started with you guys at Poole, you were a sort of lone striker pretty much on your own, and then you went to 4-4-2, if I think that's right, with Toby. How do you find sort of changing roles between those?
It's different. It's obviously when I'm up front on my own, it takes, like, there's a lot more responsibility. Obviously, when the ball comes forward, like the whole back four, goalkeeper, the midfielders are like, you need to look after it. You need to, and it was more like hold my beer. I'm going to go to work. Like I'm going to run the show today. But playing up front with Toby gives me a complete different, like gives the team a complete different option. Like I like to hold it, like to come and link and try and secure the ball and get us up the pitch, where Toby's the complete opposite. Toby wants to run in behind, stretch it, which gives me a lot more space. And even with Fletch at times, you get two threats. Yeah. So defenders are like, normally the two centre halves against the one forward, one will go and attack, one will sweep, what makes it a little bit harder. But then with Toby up there, if they play a 3, most teams do play a 3 against us, because then they think, we've always got the one on the cover. But if they play a 2, it's man for man, and I know 99% of the time I'll win my battle. 99% of the time Toby's going to win his battle 1-on-1. and then we're in, and then it's just down to us to finish it. So it's completely different. The first year, I think, where we had limited resources, players we had quite a young squad. It suited me because I was like, right, I take a lot more pressure on my shoulders, and now we've got a more strength and depth. There's not always that pressure, which is good for me because I can play my own game. I don't have to worry about if I let one or make one mistake, like Toby can cover me, or the same as Toby. If it doesn't work for Toby, then I'll let Toby's back and picking up the second. So it works good. I do enjoy playing there too. I enjoy playing in the one, but I think that's just me wanting to play football.
Yeah, and this season changed again since Tubbsy come in. You're sort of more, or at least when Toby's playing as well, you play more of a 3 with you out to one side and coming in. Has that been a big change? Do you like it?
I think I'm going to be honest anyway, because everybody knows I hate it. I hate it with a passion, because I think it takes a little bit away from me. When we lose the ball, my first thought is to try and protect Hutch at left back. Because if they get out past me, then Hutch is 2v1, which obviously isn't a good thing because they're starting to progress into our half. So it's taken a bit away from my attacking play because I'm not in the box. I'm not me and Hutch get on brilliantly on the pitch. Hutch knows where I'm going to be every time he crosses it. But obviously, when I'm playing out that side with Hutch, I've got to try and leave Hutch to do a 30-yard doggy into the box to try and get on the end of it, and then if it breaks down, Hutch is 2v1, which isn't great. So personally, I prefer playing down the middle. That's me. That's my bread and butter. But I said this to the gaffer, that moaned about it. I hate playing there, and it's probably the worst time to moan because I think I scored 5 in 3. Yeah. Played where we're winning games, and I was like, I've contradicted myself here because I hate it. I'm still scoring goals, so surely I should be loving it. But I think it's more the running. Just don't like running. I think everybody will tell you that. Pre-season will tell you that. I hate running.
That's amazing you say that, because I mean, it seems to be an increased workload with Tubbsy in terms of getting back, but your dedication to it seems unbelievable. I remember watching a clip. I think it was a Horndean, and you were the last man down there. So you say you hate it, but you're certainly not lacking in motivation to get the job done.
Yeah, I want to win. As everybody else in the starting 11 and the rest of the squad, we all want to win. I'd rather play out there and win than play out front and lose. So it's one of them. And I know at the time it's been like a turbulent period where everything's gone on more than most people think that's gone on. So we've had to stick together, and then we've lost a lot of experienced players. Spetchy, JD, Corby, Luke Kearney. So then a little bit more pressure's fallen on Wes, me, Toby, Wes, Cam, Murray. So I've had to try and protect the younger lads a little bit. So and could have easily threw the towel in and said, I'm not interested, but that's not me. I want to win. So the other boys. So it wouldn't have been fair for me to do that. And as I said, I hate losing. So if I've got to potentially give a penalty away to stop somebody, which I think I nearly did, but I dragged him back, and then I think Max come out and saved me a little bit. So yeah, it's all right. It's football.
It's kind of good that you mentioned kind of like the senior players that are at the team now, because I don't mean this in a way of calling you old or anything like that. You're still relatively young in football terms, but like one player that I noticed that you kind of get on really well on the field is Pi Samadi. And obviously he's following a similar route to what you are. He's in Eastleigh's academy. He's going out on, I know he's not on loan with us, but he probably will be at some point in the future. Yeah. And I remember seeing when Pi scored that goal, you were the first one over, and it almost looked like a proud dad moment, like from a fan point of view. So I guess now, like, obviously, you are like one of the senior players. You've been there for a couple of years now. Like, when players come in on loan, when players come into the squad, obviously they must know who you are. Your record speaks to yourself in the non-leagues at the moment. Do you kind of make a point of going, oh, hey, by the way, I'm Tony, been here for X amount of years, if you need anything, I'm here for you kind of thing? Or is it like, are you still quite shy in that sense and you let them come to you kind of thing? How do you kind of approach that?
It's hard because we, like the players that are still here, we're a great group. Like Whisk, obviously, like the father figure, been here for so long. Whisk's quite quiet. He just goes about his business. But when it comes to being in the changing room and being on the pitch, you can see he's a proper leader. And like new signings, really just when they come in, they're quite quiet. And where we've got a good group, all of us just have a laugh and have a chat in the changing rooms or on the coach. So it's not, we don't talk about past, we don't talk about present or what people have done in the game. It's literally like the two new lads who come in, we try and make them feel as welcome as possible, have a joke with them, this, that, the other, just encourage them in the training, like just try and give them positive vibes as soon as they come in so they feel at ease. And as soon as they feel at ease, then they'll perform to their best. But it's funny you say that. Remy was like, when Remy joined, he's like, I see you playing, I thought you were going to be this horrible person. I was going to use some explicits then, but I thought you were this horrible person because I see you playing, all you want to do is beat people up on the field. I thought you were going to be quite arrogant and stuff like this. He said, but all you do is have a laugh. He said, all you do is try and make people laugh, or people take the mick out of you and you just roll with it, just as long as people are smiling and laughing. And I was like, yeah, that's to a T. Like, I don't want to come into I wouldn't want to go into an environment where people are being hard to get on with or to open up to or get to know. So why should I be the same to youngsters or other signings coming in?
Yeah, and I think that kind of shows that why you are like a fan favourite at Paul. Some of your kind of your work rate is always 100%, but also in and again, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but some of your on-field antics are very hilarious. The squeezing, the drinking of a keeper's water bottle and then emptying it, squirting it, diving into a crowd and drinking a beer, getting sent off like that. So, like, obviously the fans have these iconic moments and iconic memories of you. I think you are like one of the players that is kind of like, and again, in the nicest way, the joker of the pack. Whenever you walk up to the ground, you see me and, first thing is, you make a joke about my height or something like that, which is, I wouldn't expect anything less. So, like, it's always good to have that kind of, like, again, I mean it in the nicest way, but joker in the pack kind of thing. Were you always kind of, are you a bit shy normally, or is that just solely that only on the football field and then off the field you're a little bit laid back kind of thing, or are you always that, like, kind of jokey personality?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's always, you got work Tony, you got dad Tony, you've got football Tony. It's like I'm quite chilled out at home, quite chilled out at work, and then I come to football and I love football. Like, I could sleep, breathe, do you know what I mean? Everything football. So I just try and enjoy coming into football, like making sure there's no regrets at the end of it. I don't want to retire and think, I took it too seriously, I didn't enjoy it too much. And I think most of that comes down to when I was at Eastleigh. I was at Eastleigh 17 in a dressing room every day with some characters. Like, some of the stuff I've seen there was frightening. It was like so funny. And then I think, they come into work every day, they play football, but they had a laugh. And as soon as we went on the training pitch, it was like work serious. And then in games, if you're winning, they'd have a laugh and do bits and pieces. But if you're losing, they're like, we need to sort this out. So it's gauging the right time. Like, it doesn't happen if we're losing, because it's not like every. I don't like losing. You boys don't want to keep paying your money up and down the league to come and watch us lose. So there's times and places if we're winning and the vibe's good, everybody's enjoying it, it's perfect time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You talked about your relationship with Kai and some younger players. Were you shouting at him to shoot for that? I could hear you shouting at him, like, for his whole run. Were you telling him to shoot, or did you want the ball?
No. I think I can't remember, he scored 79th minute, and I think it was boiling hot. I was knackered, and he looked at me. I said, "Don't pass it me. I can't, because I'm only going to give it you back, because I'm going to shoot and it's going to go over." So he looked at me. I looked away, and I just shouted to him, "Shoot!" and he shot.
Yeah.
And it ended up going in the top corner, which for him was 17 years old coming into a Southern Prem. I was at East League. I went into the Wessex at 17, so he's come straight into a Southern Prem environment, and he's giving credit to him. He's come in, he's worked his nuts off, and I think he's got a lot of respect for the way he's conducted himself. And most of the youngsters have come in and done similar to him, like come in, just worked hard, and then got the praises by doing the talk on the field.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen you before, the younger players, sort of take them under your wing a little bit, and I've also seen you a couple of times now, and touched on it in the last video I did, where you've sort of at half time spoken to the other players, spoken with James Ellis, some tactics, and I've seen them sort of pay off immediately, like word for word. Do you intend to move into coaching after football? Is that something you'd be looking to do?
Yeah, done a little bit of coaching before in a near enough a full-time environment. So yeah, it's something that I want to do in the future. I think my football at the minute is more important. I want obviously kick on. Obviously the club want to kick on. So I think when the time's right to go into it properly and in a full-time setting, I'd be able to give what I've got, what I think. My opinion's my opinion. Some people will think it's wrong. I'm just lucky that the last 2 times you've captured it, it's ended up paying off. So yeah, no, I think coaching is for me. Like I can speak to James Ellis all day about football. I can speak to Jody Rivers about football all day. Like me, I just enjoy talking about football, and I think as you've captured them moments, it's just happened to pay off. I know players, I know defenders quite well around the league, so I know what they're good at and what they're not. So I've just tried to play on what they're not good at.
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
it's paid off.
Was there some sort of prior knowledge to the Chesham back four where you knew there'd be an opportunity, or did you sort of pick that up throughout the game?
I think a few of their defenders have been there for a few years. So obviously, we've had a few battles. I know I've seen, obviously, they went with a new lad that we're not played against, a left centre half, and then the small, stiff one in the middle, and then like a full back at right centre half. So obviously, Webby does all the analysis, so Webby will put bits and pieces together, details on near enough every player, what they're good at, what they're not. And I know the centre half from Chesham, that he's getting on. He's not the most mobile. So I thought anything low down, he's going to struggle with, because I said at half time, at the minute we're crossing it, and all 3 of them, because where Toby is coming off the line, all 3 of them like happy to try and attack me and the ball in the air, and it wasn't working. So I thought if we change it up and do what they're not good at, get it down, because when we got it down first 30 minutes of the Chesham game, we battered them. I thought if this is what the league's got to offer, then we'll be all right when we click and we'll fly. Then they're sending off, but then I think second half we've done it. And even for the second goal, which I'm claiming, Wisk headed it against me. So
well, they gave it to Harvey Wright, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know who's got that. Whoever's doing the match reports need to put their glasses on, but done me out of a goal there. So and the Horndean one. But
one thing I will say is we moved hand that straight away. Wisk went like that straight away. You kind of cowered away, because I'm not having that.
Yeah, no. Ask Webby. Webby's got it on footage anyway. So, but even for the corner, like we moved it across quite quickly across the pitch, and then back across, and then got a cross in that went out for a corner, and then we scored. So there's Webby does a lot for us, and we know bits and pieces about players. But as I said, I love football. A few years ago, before Webby was involved, Tommy used to sit behind me on the coach, and Tommy was like, "Oh, who have they signed? Who do you think they'll have playing today?" And I'd sit on Twitter from the night before and have a look who they had the week before in defence, and try and pick out a team. And then Tommy would like, and Spetchy and Wisk and Corby used to batter me for knowing everything about football. They'd literally ask me, "Who we got this?" or "Who signed there?" or "What's gone on?" I'd be able to tell them within seconds.
It was uncanny, as I said to you at the time with those. Thank you, Tony. Some good info there. Thank you very much. When you're not playing football, what are you doing? What do you do for a day job, and what do you do when you're trying to relax?
Day job in the scaffolding trade, which is new to me. I've been doing it 3-4 months now.
Oh, wow.
Which at the time I just jumped off site labouring. I thought, right, let me try something that's different and see if I can get my teeth into. So yeah, I started doing that about 4 months ago, and it's been all right until the last week and a half when it started to throw it down with rain and I'm soaked. So yeah, I've been doing that for the last 4 months.
It must be it's a very physical job. Do you find it wears you out for football and vice versa, or does it all go hand in hand a little bit?
Yeah, it can come to a Friday night, and by the time we've trained twice, I come to a Friday night and I'm done. I just early night, and then Saturday I feel all right, and then Saturday night and the Sundays are right off.
Oh, really?
So I'm just done. I don't do anything. Just watch the football on the telly. Spend time with the kids. But yeah, it's not the easiest.
Do you find that the weekends games, I guess, perhaps not so much in the scaffolding game, but if you start the Monday after a defeat at the weekend, you don't want to lift quite so much? You find it a bit harder to get going, or will a win see you through?
It's a nightmare. Like the lads that I work with are all like football oriented anyway, and know their stuff, and have been down a few times to watch. And all they've watched is Premier League, so they didn't expect it to be as good as a standard as it is. So they've come down, and on a Saturday they'll have a look and see how we get on, and the first thing they're asking is what went wrong on the Monday morning, and I'm like, yeah, did you give them a quick run through? If we've won, then I'll stand around for half hour, an hour talking of what went right and how good I was and how good everybody else was.
So they're new guys, and you do a match report, do you? every morning, every Monday?
Yeah, I might as well do the Poole Town ones as well. I might as well just send them a copy. Yeah, when we're in the van on the way to jobs, we'll have a chat about everything. There's a lad that loves Formula One, so we'll sit and talk about that. But yeah, to talk about, it's mostly sport that we talk about, and obviously because I play football, it's obviously a topic that they ask silly questions and want to know more about it, because they thought, I said, oh yeah, come watch us in the league, and he thought it was literally like a park with a railing around it.
It used to be.
And we turn up and pay subs. Yeah, I was going to say like a school field with a barrier around it, but it still is, just with a stand. But yeah, no, and then he come down and seen the standard of the pitch and early on in the season, and then how the supporters are, the bar and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, it's not what I expected. So yeah, they're interested and they're intrigued, so they're always asking questions on a Monday morning.
Alex, you were saying there about it was when Poole were between grounds, wasn't it? Was it at Broadstone that they were playing? I can't remember where it was, or Poole Park or something, with some barriers around.
Oh, I know that. You have to cut this pause out because I'm going to remember it in a minute, but I can't remember where it's called. Haskell's Rec. That used to be literally just a rope. But I mean, Tony, obviously, I know you joined Poole in I think it was 2015-16 on loan. Was your first season?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
First half season anyway. Did you know much about Poole Town at that point, or was it kind of like easily were like, yeah, you know, you're going on loan here kind of thing? Did you do much research? Do you have a say in whether you want to go to the club or not, or is it just a case of, okay, yeah, I want to play football?
No, at the time it was. I can't remember where I just come back on loan from. I was just trying to have a look then on my phone because I've read it all down. Yeah, come back on loan from somewhere, and then I was meant to. I think Torquay was struggling in the conference prem at the time, and one of the assistants had a good relationship with their manager at the time. I was going to go there, and then that failed. I think because they couldn't sort the paperwork out late on. Because they'd need me to go to Torquay to sign it and stuff like that to get me on loan for the rest of the season. Obviously, that failed quite late on in the day, and I think the club put feeders out, and then obviously Tommy bit and said, "Yeah, we'll have him," because I think they were going for promotion at the time, so I think he wanted to bolster the attacking options. And then I literally got a phone call, literally finished training, got home, was about to go and do what most 18-year-old lads do, go and play Xbox or whatever it was at the time. And I got a phone call saying you need to drive down to Poole. You need to go to this address to sign on. You're going on loan. And at the time, I just wanted to go and play football. Wanted to try and get minutes, because it was either get minutes then or just sit out to the end of the season and hopefully get an injury with the first team. at Eastleigh. So I said, yeah, that's fine. Sounds just as long as they can get me there, or I can jump in with somebody. When they sorted that quite quickly, went and signed on the Thursday, Friday, and then was in the squad for. Wasn't in the squad for Saturday because paperwork didn't go through, and then played the Tuesday night at home to Hitchin, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Played left wing again in front of Lewis Tallack.
Oh, you've actually got good memory. I was kind of like, with Whiskins. I remember asking Whiskins some questions about who he made his debut for, and he couldn't remember. But do you remember who scored your first full-time goal for the game?
I know the Hitchin game, I got an assist from a free kick, delivered one for Luke Roberts where he flicked it in the top corner. First goal, I want to say Histon at home from a corner.
Knowledge, absolute ball of knowledge. Yeah, it was Histon.
Yeah. It was like, don't ask me why I was on free kicks at the time, and then why I was on corners, and I shanked the corner. I hear like the older lads, Whisk, Spetchy, Steve Devlin, Marvin Brooks, Richard Gillespie, like just moan, and then as it's gone in, I think the defenders took a touch, or the keepers tried to clear it off the line and end up going in. But yeah, I think it's from a corner. I think that's third game in, something like that.
Yeah, that first goal you played with, like, I remember that team. Paul got promoted that year to the Conference South, so you were part of history basically. I know you spent kind of February onwards, but do you remember much about like the celebrations for that kind of thing? Obviously, I'll be brutally honest, I don't remember a thing about it. I'll be brutally honest. I had the hangover from hell. But, it's such a great season, that season. What's it like to be involved in the promotion-winning side?
I think, what was I, 17, 18? I think just turned 18. I come into a group that was full of men that had experience. I think Whisk was 28. Like, you had Marvin Brooks, you had Carl Pettifer, Steve Devlin, Nick Hutchins. You had players that had played 300-400 games at men's level. So I come in, I was quite shy, I just kept myself to myself. And I think I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming because there was me, Richard Gillespie, Luke Roberts, Luke Burbage, Ashton Holgate. Ashton Holgate was on the bench, and it was like Richard playing, but where Richard was getting on, he couldn't do Saturday, Tuesday. So I thought, here we go, like I'll get a decent amount of minutes. Gilly played the Tuesday night or the Wednesday night, and I thought, I'm banging here. Game at home to get promoted, need a point, I'm playing. And then I got to the ground, and he was like, oh yeah, Richard just starting up front. I was like, you... I was on loan though, so I couldn't say anything because I was fortunate to be in that position, because many lads that will play will never get promoted or have any success. So I was fortunate to be in that environment, so I had to suck it up. But then as soon as the first goal went in, the second goal went in, I was like, here we go, like, any chance of me coming on? I think I had 5-10 minutes at the end, and then after that the scenes is hard because I wasn't fully part of the group where I'd come in on loan, and obviously it was quite a closed off group, so it was harder for me to enjoy the emotions of it. But look back now, I think I've been playing for I think 7-8 years since that, and haven't had that feeling. Nearly did last year with the playoffs. If we won the playoffs semi-final, I think we'd have gone up. I generally think we'd have gone up with the squad we had. So yeah, I look back now and think, oh, what a period that was for me.
Yeah, I agree with the playoff thing last year. I think if we'd gotten past Truro, I don't think there would have been anything to stop us. I think obviously Bracknell, fantastic last year, the way they came up and kind of almost won everything they could, really. But yeah, I think there was something special brewing last year. It's just so unlucky. You know what it is with penalties and stuff like that. It's cruel, but yeah, I fully agree. I thought last year if we had beaten Truro, I thought we would have been there.
Yeah, I think it suited Truro down to the ground with the way their pitch was. It was literally just pure mud, and they had a very physical team. So the only way that we could match them was to try and play them at their own game. Yeah. I think if we'd have played them at home, we'd have bopped them off the park. I think if we'd have played them on Astro, we'd have played them off the park. I think it just, that pitch having 50 games on it, 60 games on it that season killed it and killed us. I think we done well to get to penalties. We're unfortunate, but then Truro went to Bracknell on a similar sort of pitch and done well. So
yeah, I missed the good end of last season. I was only there at the very beginning, which it was a slower start again, wasn't it? So I feel very envious of you guys experiencing that.
But to be fair, I think the last few teams to get promoted have had slow starts. I think you had Bracknell last year that had a slow start and ended up being up there. Truro didn't set it alight last year. They were up in the top 5, but didn't pull away. Taunton were in a worse position than we are now and got promoted the year before. Farnborough, similar. Yeah. They beat us 3-1 at our place the year they went up, and I thought, wow, they're decent setup, they're a decent side, but yet they didn't get going to the end of it. So I think it doesn't matter what start you have. I think as long as you can be around it and not be rock bottom, yeah, I think you can end up going anywhere like we did last year. I think 19-20 unbeaten. To put that run together shows that any team can do it. You had Met Police that were the year before or the year before that, they were near the bottom and then just went straight on and ended up in the playoffs. So I think if you're up there by November, December, in touch with the playoffs, and after Christmas you can kick on and have a proper push.
Awesome. Right, so Tony, we've got a load of questions. There's currently 8. We may be getting a 9th, which is going to build some suspense. Some are from fans, some are sort of staples. So we'll start with one of the staples, and that is VAR, yes or no?
No, absolutely no chance. I'd be fuming. I think most of my goals would probably be chalked offside because, as Toby would say, my nose would be putting me offside. But so yeah, I think as a forward, like if you score, like you want the emotion of scoring and it kicking off behind the goal with the supporters and your teammates, and then you get a VAR check and it pauses it all, and it takes all the fun and entertainment out of it, I think.
John, I don't think anyone's going to say yeah.
No. Should I change the question to why do you hate VAR? Just go straight in.
Who do you support, Tony?
I grew up supporting Southampton.
Unlucky.
Went to all their games in League One, all of them in the Championship, all of them in the first 2 years of the Prem, and then it come to, do I want to play football on a Saturday or do I want to keep watching? And it was, I want to play. So I had to give that a miss. I'll check out for their results, but when they went down, I wasn't heartbroken. It was just, I've gutted they're not playing Premier League football, but went to a few games last year when they had Tuesdays, which was ideal. Went to Chelsea, West Ham, went to a few decent ones. And this year went to Leicester in the Championship, which was abysmal. So yeah, that's why I don't strongly support them, because I don't want it to break my heart.
Well, at least you didn't see the 9-0.
Nah, I watched it on telly, so luckily I could turn that off.
Which one did that of interest? Was it the Leicester one or the United?
Both. Funny, is it? Yeah.
Sorry, Dan told me to get that in. Dan told me to get that in.
I've actually got another question from Dan, which is a bit more kind, which is, are we going to see the backflip celebration ever again?
Yeah, I think it'll be out at some point. I think he's being a little bit generous with the backflip. I don't know what to call it. It's just some sort of shape that I throw together in midair.
I didn't see it. What was the special occasion, or was it just heat of the moment?
It wasn't just heat of the moment. I think we went to Hartley last year, and I don't know if we had a tough run beforehand, and I think we got went 1-0 up and we looked strong in the game, and that was it. I think I might have missed a penalty the week before or something like that, so I thought better bury this one.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, just out of the blue.
Okay, so favourite film or TV series?
Well, there's a few. like Prison Break, the old, like more old school ones. I say old school, a few years old. Prison Break, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders. Watch Ray Donovan, I quite like that on Sky. That's a good one. Fast and Furious is, I know they're films, but I enjoy a Fast and Furious film.
Plenty of action. You don't sit and watch comedies with Whisk then on the bus?
Nah, I think I do his head in, to be fair. I think I sit about 2 yards away from him and I'm non-stop. So I think he enjoys the peace and quiet. Him, Spetchy and Corby all used to sleep, and now he's got Harvey one side, Deck another. Deck another side, which is like trying to bring his age down a little bit.
Do you always sit in the same spot then? Have you got like your designated spots?
Yeah, we've it's changed recently over like change of players and like new lads coming in and finding seats and stuff like that. But I think for the last 2-3 years we've had the same sort of spots. You had Spetchy, Whisk and Corbett at the back. You had Mickey, Tommy. Then you had me, Richard. You had about 7 of us that played cards. And then like the younger ones sit and chat or play. I think Toby takes his like Nintendo Switch or something like that, and they'll play FIFA on it.
Oh, okay.
So he'll do that. I used to play cards, and now it's changed to just chatting and having a laugh and bullying each other.
Nice. Sorry, I have had this 9th question come in, and actually there's 2, but I'm not sure that one's appropriate. Right. Here's a sensible question from Aaron Power. Which player did you aspire to be like when you were growing up?
Well, I think I love watching Ronaldinho, love watching the Brazilian Ronaldo. Obviously not that much because none of my playing styles like theirs at all. I can't imagine me trying to flip-flap on the left wing like Ronaldinho did and cut in and do that. Yeah, I used to enjoy watching Ronaldinho because it was starting to come out that he could do anything with football. And then Messi started to do it. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching Ronaldinho, like watching him on YouTube, any games that are on, I try and watch of him. But yeah, he used to just run the show.
Yeah, so I've got a question from Mark Vincent here. So what is your favourite full-town goal you've ever scored, and why is it the bicycle kick against Dorchester?
I think there's a few, to be fair. I'm trying to think. That's up there. That is up there. I'm just trying to think. I was going to say there's so many to go through, but
that goal against Gosport last year at their place. And
yeah, that one's up there. Just for the bit of assault that I had, centre half tried to drag me down, and then it ended up flying in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
The year before that, Gosport.
Yeah.
Top corner. Salisbury away, the second one.
Yeah,
that's up there.
Yeah.
I think he's got to be right though. I think it's got to be the Dorchester one, just because Derby, and obviously we took. Looking back, and I think when we were trying to sign Alfie in the summer, I showed him that. I said, "Look, that like for a Derby away following, like I think we must have had 400 or 500 people there, which was a hell of a turnout in April. All vocal beyond the goal." And obviously, when we started to run away with it, then I think it was 3 at half time or 4 at half time, something like that. The game was out of sight, and obviously we were fully in charge of like our own destiny with like the playoffs and stuff like that. Because I think if we'd have lost that or slipped up, like Swindon would have probably caught us and had the momentum. Well, they might have nicked it, especially when they beat us at their place towards the end. So yeah, I'd go Dorchester and try to think. Dorchester away would have been the one.
Yeah, it was a great goal.
I have a question here from number 1 Pooltown supporter Toby Holmes, and he says, ask Tony if there is any job within the club that he thinks he couldn't do, seeing as he's the top goal scorer, kit man, groundsman, social media instigator, part-time director, and leading scout.
I love football. I love football, and at Eastleigh we had a YTS sort of thing. We always had to help out doing stuff. So it was my dad was kit man at the time at Eastleigh, so I was always told to go and help him set up and then do this. But yeah, love football. So anything football wise, I help out or I can do. But yeah, I think if the club ever needs taking over without any financial backing, I'll be the man for it.
Would you do that in all seriousness? I mean, I know you're not taking over the club, but could you see yourself being on a board somewhere and getting involved?
I think I'd love to be, but I think everybody else would say no, just because of some of the carnage I'd cause. I think people would want to sack me or get me off the board quicker than anything. But yeah, no, football, any sort of role in football after I retire would be. As long as I've got football in my life, then I'll be happy. So,
just imagine you and Andy on a board. That's frightening.
Or people asleep.
That's frightening. They're the most eccentric people I've ever met.
I've got this is actually in some ways a similar question, but it's a bit more politely worded from Lee Trowbridge. He says, we've seen Tommy leave with the addition of 3 players, yet you are still mixing it with the fans in the shed when injured or suspended. You get stuck in at the ground. So what keeps you so motivated and loyal to Poole?
One, my love for football.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest one. But as I said, if we'd have gone into, we'd have still been here chatting about all my loans if we'd have gone into it. But having so many loans and being pushed from pillar to post just to try and get experience in men's football, never really able to settle. And then when Tommy, to be fair, Tommy, Matty Holmes and Danny Holmes, probably the 3 that made it click. Tommy was like, you need to stop being somebody that you're not. And then Matty Holmes was like, you just need to go back to basics, be horrible, score goals. And that's where it made it click. And obviously since then I've been able to stay settled at Poole, enjoy my football, enjoy being around the club. And it's one of them, I think you can get a lot more. I've seen Eastleigh go from Conference South to Conference Prem and how much it changed over a short period of time with people getting involved, players getting involved with fans and building them relationships. And I'm quite open and I'll have a chat with anybody or I'll help out or do what's needed to do. And I'm glad I did. I think North Lee was the one I went and helped out, and then we ended up getting a gate of 1,200 people, which was beneficial for the club. So I think I'd like to play my part in helping that and helping the club progress to the next level where we're getting 1,000 fans every game, or we're getting promoted, and obviously going further up the football pyramid. So my love for football, the club have got great people from top to bottom. Chris Reeves, everybody that's past and present, can't speak highly enough of. Supporters, top notch, some of the best around. You'd travel in numbers, pay your money. Hendon last year was the pinnacle where we were in. I think we needed a draw or something like that, but we still went in good numbers. You had lads in fancy dress, we had a laugh with them in the bar after. Feels like there's a real togetherness, and I think there's where we've had such change this year. It's drifted a little bit because everybody's trying to find their feet, but when we've got that togetherness and everybody's on board, then it's probably one of the best places to be. So I've enjoyed my time here. I'm continuing to enjoy my time here. So if that means doing what I've done, like as Toby said, helping out with everything. Then yeah, as I said, I'll get into the ground at 1:30. I'll have a laugh with Sim. I'll have a laugh with Dan. I'll have a laugh with all the others, and I think that's needed because you get at the Premier League. I think you see it where you get players that just walk past supporters or don't have a chat, and I think you lose that the higher up you go. So I think it's key to keep as much as we can, or players to do as much as they can to keep that lower down.
Harry Tonks wants to know what's your go-to meal deal.
Go-to meal deal. So at work, got one of the boys on it at work. So plain and simple, it's a ham and cheese sub it's got to be a Tesco's one. Got to be a Tesco one, a ham and cheese sub. Good proportion of mayo, right amount of cheese, right amount of ham. It's not too bready. So that's we go into proper detail about this at work. So that's a perfect sandwich. It's not too soggy. Mix it up. The prawn mayo ones are too soggy. I enjoy eating seafood, but yeah, prawn marrow sandwiches are soggy. And either chicken tikka satay or chicken satay. It's got a bit of fizzy drink or chocolate milkshake.
You floored it back, but like I've just been on it for 57 minutes to find out that a Pool Town top striker has a salmon feast sandwich and a meal deal. Oh, you need to get on the chicken club, mate.
Yeah, Wiss would probably hate me saying this because I've been training in the gym with him for the last 10 weeks to try and get fitter and stronger. But yeah, cheese and ham sub. If I get time to pop home and cook it, like cheesy pasta with beans. Like at school when you had the old pasta kings. I'm a sucker for that. It's simple, but that's it. But then I think there's about a pack of four Galaxy Ripples chucked in there as well, and bits and pieces.
Oh, Galaxy Ripple. That's a rare joy. I didn't realise that question would reap so much information. So we'll have to ask Alex what his go-to meal deal would be as well, I think.
Yeah.
It's a chicken club with a sausage roll and one of those innocent blue from the Bolt drinks.
Oh yeah, I like those. They're nice.
Total cost without club card £6.50. With club card £3.40. I'm no mug.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, you've got to go with those smoothies. The smoothies are great value for money on a meal deal.
Yeah, it depends what time of the day. Like it could be a chocolate milkshake, could be an iron brew, could be depends where I am. And yeah, I like a good iron brew. So yeah, it depends what time of the day. It could be completely different. If it's early morning, I'll try and stop at a bakery and get as many sausage rolls and cakes as possible.
It's a great question, Harry. I'm going to do this everyone we do.
Should we swap that out for the VAR one?
Yeah, it's good. That's a better question than the VAR one.
I've actually Toby has sent me another question, and I probably wouldn't ask this one, but I think he said he's going to put £10 in the supporters fund for each one of these questions, and he owes you one, I think. So this is, he's asked if you could either zoom out or sit further back because your nose is blocking the screen. His next one is, do you speak to Grandad Andy every day? Which I guess is an in-joke. You can elaborate on that if you want.
No, so it was lucky Toby done it on Zoom because the stink of his breath would have knocked a few people out. So I think he's trying to pass the buck there with Grandad Andy. I think if you go on his speed dial, he'll be one of the first on there.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll leave that at that. He said that was the last one, so that's £30, I think, for the supporters club, plus the 10 that you still got to pay.
Off players.
I'll get that off him.
Oh.
Simo said every goal I score, he just puts a tenner in the kitty.
Oh, okay.
You're exaggerating now. Well, if it's a goal for every if it's a tenner for every goal you score, then I'm quids in at the moment. So hurry up.
Yeah, little dry spell.
I have one last fan question, if that's all right. I realise we're getting on time-wise. But, this is Nathan Telling, and he says, what are your aspirations for this season and for future seasons?
I think as a group, group of staff and group of players, I think when they come in, we needed to consolidate. We lost a few players, so it's been a bit of a bumpy road. Similar to this time last year, results-wise, probably a little bit better off points-wise, which has been okay. We're still in the mix. Lost a few games that we probably shouldn't have. Our aims, I think, at the start of the season was to win the league and go up as champions without the playoffs, without anything else. With everything that's gone on, I think if we get in the playoffs and build momentum at the right time, we'll be one of the favourites then. I think you've seen we've taken Chesham, we looked a better team against Chesham, and then the sending off, which was a disgrace. So I think we've shown that we can mix it. We beat Gosport at home. After half time, they said we're one of the worst teams they'd played. I think just because we were boring. We were boring as a team, just sat in and tried to hit them on the counter, but 1-2-0. So whether it's boring or not, we won the game of football. So we've shown we can take two of the better teams. Not played Murphy yet, not played Walton Hersham. Totton was always going to be up in the air, like being a derby, a smaller pitch. We didn't perform how we wanted to. So I think now that the squad's starting to settle, obviously I think every squad at this level you see coming and going, and we will till the end of March or whatever. But I think if we get in the playoffs and get the momentum right, we'll be sorted to, I think, go up this year. Personally, I think my ambitions align with the club's. I want to get promoted, whether that's up as champions, and we could still do it as champions, or through the playoffs. If we don't get the playoffs, then it'd be a massive. But it won't be a good season. It'll be a massive disappointment. But yeah, I want to get promoted. I want to score as many goals as possible. I want to have a proper go in the league above, because I've played in the league above, and you can see teams like Taunton have gone up there, consolidated and kicked on and flying. You've got teams like Yeovil and Torquay that have good crowds. So the league's a lot stronger and a lot better to being up there. So I think if you get out of this one, there's a lot more rewards in the league above. So I think if you could ask everybody's is the same sort of ambitions to get promoted and kick on into that league. And I think the club's got ambitions to try and go again, and I think look at a hybrid system and stuff like that in the future if we get promoted to try and push us on to the next level, which would be massive for the club. So yeah, I think everybody's ambitions are aligned with that one, just to try and get promoted this year or get as far as we can into the playoffs, and hopefully if you finish third you can end up with a home final and hopefully go out that way. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've got Beaconsfield, which is switched to an away fixture, coming up. What are your thoughts on that game?
It's going to be tough. I think they started quite poorly, had a change around, and they've managed to kick off. I think they've signed a few good players, a few from higher leagues. So I think they're probably about a month and a half, 2 months ahead of us, being settled after change of style and play. So it'd be tough. Obviously on Astro, never easy going anywhere in the league. Going to Beaconsfield, it's like a graveyard when you go there. Saps all the enthusiasm out of you. There's no atmosphere, so it'd be a tough place to go. Don't get me wrong, it's something we're not used to. But we'll go there, we'll prepare tomorrow. We'll do a lot of on Beaconsfield tomorrow and how we want to play and the way that we want to play going forward. But I think if we go there and start like we did at Chesham, I think it could be an enjoyable afternoon for all of us and the supporters that make the trip up there.
Great. Beaconsfield or Beaconsfield? I've always been Beaconsfield. I don't know what the right word is.
I go Beaconsfield, I think.
I always get told
I could be wrong.
I've been told it's Beaconsfield, but I prefer saying Beaconsfield. But I've heard it apparently it's Beaconsfield.
We had the debate the other day at training. I think the gaffer was like, is it Beaconsfield or Beaconsfield? And then you had a few lads that were like, Beaconsfield, Beaconsfield. And they're, as it does, everybody latched onto it quick. And they're like, no, it's Beaconsfield, Beaconsfield. So yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably be wrong because I am most of the time.
Great service, very good.
Wonderful. And I must wrap up properly this time, because last time the thing just finished. I was like, yeah, see ya.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought a bit of a poor ending from a man of many talents.
Yes, Tony, thank you very much. We don't know who's going to be on next. We think it's going to be Wes Fogden. So if you want to club together and get some questions ready for him. But yeah, thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Cheers, boys.